Sure, can you make me presenter? Okay, got it. Hope you are able to see my screen. Okay. Good evening, guys. Myself, Chidananda. Okay, so I have almost 14 years of experience in this IT industry. Out of 14 years, almost 12 years, I'm working as a cloud. I started my journey in cloud and then data engineering and then solution architect, technical lead. So I worked on multiple clouds. So I'm a certified on Azure data engineering, Azure solution architect, in terms of Microsoft. If you take AWS, I am AWS solution architect certified, as well as almost 5 years of experience in AWS as well. And coming to the Databricks, I am Databricks certified associate in terms of data engineering, in terms of Spark expertise specialist and data analytics. So we have, if you take Databricks Spark certifications, right? So I am certified in data analytics, data engineering associate, as well as Spark uh, certified. So that is a specialist in Spark. So even I'll make you certified before we complete our training. So I'm going to provide the training such a way that fully hands-on, and you have, I'll provide you almost 500 plus practice questions on different certifications, which we are going to practice hands-on, and you can clear the certification by yourself without taking any help from others. Okay. So coming to the training, so what I'm going to teach you. So if you see in cloud, so we have different cloud providers. We have like Microsoft, Azure, AWS, Google, and Databricks is again a separate product we have. So if you take any cloud, these are the roles that we have, like administrator, data in the cloud environment. So the major component, if you want to work on data scientist, if you want to work on AI engineering, if you want to work on functional constraint, DevOps engineering, data analytics, the primary one is data engineering, which you need to know. So data engineering is the hot cake in the market. If you go any cloud, data engineering is the hot cake. So without data engineering, you can't do any work in AI engineering. You can't do, data scientist can't do anything without data, or security engineering, or developer, or solution architect, or DevOps engineering, or data analyst. So without data engineering, these people can't survive, because for all these roles, they need data. Who is going to provide the data? Data engineering is the one who is going to design, implement the data, monitor. All the stuff will be done by the data engineering. So this is very hot cake in the market, hot technology in the market, which we should learn end to end. Okay. So coming to the data engineering. So if you see here, so this is where the data engineering lies. Okay. So if you see here, so we have three kinds of roles. We have data warehouse. Like if you see 5 years or 10 years before, we have data warehouse like Oracle, where we store the data in the form of tables, structured data. So we have data warehouse earlier, and we use Teradata earlier for storing these kinds of data. So now, after that, data engineering, that is called data lake, delta lake, came into picture. That is called data engineering, where we are going to do ETL. We are going to do either ETL or ELT, where we are going to extract the data from multiple source systems. We are going to transform the data. We are going to load the data, and we are going to build the data lake. So we have three kinds of data: structured, semi-structured, and structured. Structured means you get the files in the form of rows and columns, and semi-structured JSON, XML, unstructured data, videos, audios. So majority of the data that we get in real time from different vendors, like these are the consumers we have. So if you see, so these are the enterprise in every industry. So if you take healthcare, these are the few customers, they do data engineering. If you take manufacturing, these are the real-time customers which they are using data engineering analytics. If you take media, so these are the customers they have. So each and every industry, so I have listed few here. but each and every industry, they are going to work on data engineering. So without data engineering, there is no industry in the real-time world. So as part of data engineering, you are going to do ETL process. For this, we are going to use Azure Cloud Platform, and we are going to learn about streaming, real-time streaming data. If you take your credit card or anything, suppose you have done some swipe credit card, you have purchased some laptop, and you have spent some 50K, 50,000 rupees. So what the credit card has offer? So if you have done some purchase of 50,000, they need to send some gift wrapper. So if you want to do that kind of streaming analytics, or if you take Dream 11, all these things are streaming applications. Dream 11, what are the gaming applications that you have, real-time gaming applications, that all applications will run on the streaming live data. Based on the live data, they are going to predict the analytics. They are going to predict the things. So as part of data engineering, you are going to learn the batch that is called ETL, and you are going to do real-time streaming. We are going to learn Apache Spark texture streaming, Kafka, Apache Kafka. We are going to see Azure Stream Analytics. We are going to see these three things. We are going to see as part of streaming. And if you take data engineering, we are going to touch base Apache Spark, that is PySpark, Python plus Spark. You are going to learn Python here, and Spark programming and SQL. We are going to do all these stuffs. Even I'm going to, if you are really interested, I'm going to touch base you Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse Analytics is the entire course which we are going to learn here, Azure Synapse Analytics. So if you go here, that is called DP203. So I'm going to teach you entire 13 models for you, all the models with lab and demo. So all the materials has been designed such a way that, so this is for Azure Synapse Analytics, DP203. So let me open this. 1 second. One second. So we are going to see Synapse Analytics, that is almost 2 weeks. Okay. So on data scientist, if you are really interested in data scientist, I'll provide you materials. I'll guide you how to provide. But as part of my training, we are going to learn data analytics, data engineering from batch and streaming. We are going to learn, and Azure Synapse Analytics in terms of data warehousing concept. So we are going to learn all these stuffs as part of my training. For this training, I'm going to share all these documents. So all these documents and all these documents that are available here. So I have prepared all the documents which are required for our training, interview questions, certifications, resumes, and how to create resources, all the Python material, Databricks material, all the materials I'm going to share you on daily basis whenever we start the topic. And then coming to the environment. So for this, we need, this is Azure environment. So this I have created for UK people. So this batch has been completed. One class is left. You are going to do, in my class, 98%, you are going to do practical. I'm not going to teach you anything theory. First 3 to 4 classes, I'm going to teach you theory. What is a cloud? How many kinds of cloud? What kind of services cloud will provide? What is the benefits of cloud? Why we go majorly for cloud? So these things I'm going to teach you basics first 2 to 3 classes. Then onwards, on daily basis, if I teach 1 hour, 55 minutes will be the practical that I'm going to showcase you. Okay. So for my training, I'm going to provide you 150 USD credits for you. So everyone can use these credits, and we are going to learn all these stuffs here. We are going to learn all these stuffs here. So you'll get fresh account, and then we are going to onboard all these services. So for our services, we need, so let me open one PPT for you, reference architecture. So if you see here, so we are going to learn about, so if you take Azure and Databricks, so we are going to learn about Azure Data Factory. So what this Data Factory will do, it will connect to multiple source systems, it will get the data, you can monitor the pipelines. It's an orchestration tool. You can schedule your pipeline. So it's an orchestration tool, end-to-end tool. So if you go to the cloud, so this is where, this is where Data Factory comes. So we are going to build the pipelines. We are going to ingest these things, data, and this is how we can ingest the pipelines like this. So we are going to execute these pipelines, okay, how the pipeline should be executed. And then you are going to monitor these pipelines here. So we can monitor the pipelines here, how to monitor the pipelines, okay. And then you can do the linked services, you can do GitHub configuration. So all these things we are going to learn as part of our data factory. So how you are going to connect to multiple source systems. So you are going to learn end to end here. So you are going to learn all these activities that has been defined here. And we are going to learn about data flows, which we'll see in the data classes when we start. And coming to the next thing is data lake storage. So we have three kinds of storages. We have ADLS Gen 2, blob storage, ADLS Gen 1, and data lake and delta lake. So we are going to see almost 4 to 5 storage accounts in your real time. So if you go here, so this is how we do in real time. So this is how we store the data here, CSV files. And then if you go here, so this is sample data which we'll use for our practice things. So Parquet files. So we have different file formats that are available here, which we are going to use this as a storage account. And we are going to see what is the storage account, why we use. So this is also one storage account. This is one storage account, blob storage, ADLS Gen 2, how to provide ACLs, how to provide access to this environment, this storage. So we are going to see all these stuffs. And then coming to the next point is Databricks. So this is one of the important which we need to almost 60 to 70% we need to concentrate on this Databricks. This is a powerful platform like Azure. So this is a product base. This is a product Databricks. If you know Databricks alone, 80 to 90% of chances you get job much faster compared to Azure. So Databricks is that powerful. For Databricks, you should know Python or Scala or SQL or R. So as part of my training, I'm going to teach you SQL as well as Python. That is a basic thing that you should know. So this is the Python materials, which I am going to teach you. So if you see the materials, so this is how the materials, where you are going to execute everything here right now. Okay, no, let me cancel this. So this is how the materials has been defined. So we are going to execute here itself. We are going to learn Python. And data engineering for this next one is Spark. So this is the Spark programming which we have, which we are going to learn about the Spark. What is the Spark? How to read and write data. So this is if you see one example notebooks. So this is how the materials has been defined. So this is how the materials you can execute here. You don't need to install single software. You don't need to prepare single file. All the things is already available in cloud. Just you need to use my environment and start working on that. Okay, so this is about Spark programming, which we are going to learn. Third thing is data engineering. So this is also very important. These three things I'm going to cover: Python plus Spark programming plus data engineering. So if you know these things, on top of that, you can learn data analytics on top of this, which I'll show you how to learn, how to explore. But in this data engineering and Spark, half of the data analytics will be covered in my training. So these are the materials which I'll share you for practicals. Okay, this is the Databricks environment. I'll tell you what is this environment, how to onboard, how to do machine learning here, how to do SQL analytics. So if you go SQL analytics, so you have SQL analytics workspace. If you want to do machine learning, you have machine learning, data science. You can have the experiments, features, models, all these stuff. So I'm going to explore you all these functionalities going further. So this is about the Databricks environment, so which we are going to spend almost 30 classes, minimum 30 classes we are going to spend on Databricks. And Azure Synapse Analytics. So Azure, instead of data warehouse, so data warehouse is the old one, but Azure Synapse Analytics, that is called DP203, which we are going to onboard all these stuff. So if you go here, so this is Synapse Analytics. Okay, Azure Synapse Analytics. I'll tell you how to onboard this. So we are going to let it load for 2 minutes. Two seconds, guys. Okay. If you see, this is Azure Synapse Analytics. So you can build the pipelines here. So this is where we have the SQL database, Lakehouse, and we have the storage accounts linked here. You can have the data warehousing concepts here, notebooks. You can integrate the pipelines, monitor, and manage. So you have a lot of stuff which we need to see Azure Synapse Analytics here. So which we are going to see, this is almost 6 to 8 classes minimum we are going to spend here. Okay. So these are the things that I'm going to cover on Azure SQL database, which we are going to cover here. Okay. And we will build different kinds of dashboards here. So apart from that, I'll guide you for all the certifications. If you're planning to take Azure certification, I will help you. If you're planning to take AWS, I'm going to provide you all the materials, all the practice questions. If you're planning to take Databricks exam, definitely I'm going to support you with all the materials and stuff and guide you. And whenever any topics comes, I'm going to teach you how you will face the interview questions here, what kind of scenarios that you will face here. So how to answer that. On each topic, I will stress at least 10 to 15 questions so that real-time questions, so that you will be aware on that. Apart from that, I'll share 2 real-time projects with you. So we are going to cover 2 real-time projects as well. So if I go here, projects, so I'm going to share end-to-end project materials for you from starting to ending. So these are the real-time projects which we have done earlier. So I'm going to share you these materials as well with you. So any questions from anyone here? So
hi, can I?
yeah, yes, it's
Yeah,
Babu or
this
Santosh?
myself. Yeah, myself, Babu.
Yeah, Babu.
So
Yeah.
I'm already working in one of PBA technology. Sorry,
Oh,
PBA technology. I'm working with PBA technology. In our client side, presently they are using of SSIS and SSAS and after PBA. So this is the scenario what they are having, the ETL tool after PBA. So they are thinking, they are asking me, for, can we able to shift for Azure ADF? So they are
yes.
asking me like, can we shift the
Yes, you can shift. So this is the ADF where you need to build your pipelines. So earlier, if you go here, so we have this one. So if you go for this, right? So integration runtime. So they have this SSIS self-hosted earlier. Now we have Azure SSIS, so we can use this SISS or auto resolve integration runtime, and you can build your pipelines. You can perform data flows, data movement, or you can use Databricks. There are multiple scenarios. Either you can use Data Factory, or you can use Databricks, or you can use Azure Synapse Analytics as well.
Okay. Thank you.
But one thing, whenever you are working with the customer, you should keep in mind, whenever you are working on cloud, in cloud, always there is 3 to 4 solutions that are available based on the customer requirement. First, you need to understand what is customer requirement, what kind of data they have, what is the budget they are going to propose for this, because budget is also important. What is the cost? Okay. So what kind of services they are looking, and what kind of services they have earlier. So based on these things, we need to provide them the solution. It's not like we have ready-made solutions. Okay, if you are going for cloud, you should use these services. No, that is wrong. So we need to keep in mind few factors before we decide the things. It's not like, okay, Azure Data Factory will do, it will build the pipelines. It can read the data from multiple source systems, and it can build, automate the pipelines. You can monitor. Yes, that is fine. But you should understand what is the scenario, what kind of data they have, what is the frequency that they need to move the data, is there any transformations that are required there, what kind of transformations they are looking, it's a simple transformations or business transformations, and how they are going to use this data for reporting purpose. That is also one of the important aspect that we need to look when you go for design or solution. Because if you move the data, and if you are not able to utilize the data, then there is no meaning of moving the data, either Azure Data Factory or anything. You should think end-to-end solutions when we go for any resource. Okay. Babu, got it?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions, guys? Feel free to ask me any questions. I'm always helpful to you. Okay.
Hi, sir.
Yeah,
Like, if possible,
please
can
can
you tell me any one example where we can use Databricks, where we can use, I mean, all the three things where we can use, where we cannot use.
Okay. So whenever you want to do some kind of custom code, suppose if you have simple pipeline. So now I have data factory here. Okay. Suppose my requirement is like I want to extract the data from multiple source systems and I want to get the data. So in that case, I can use simple copy activity here. So this copy activity, it can connect to multiple data source systems here. So it has 90 plus data source systems which you can connect. And suppose if I want to get the data from some DB2, so you can click on DB2 here, select DB2, and then you need to provide the connection details for DB2. Okay, you need to provide all these details, and then your sync will be the blob storage. Anything you can connect to blob storage, and you can write the data. This is simple thing. So if you want to extract and load the data in the data factory, so you can use this data factory. And in data factory, advantage is you can schedule this. Suppose if I want to run this pipeline every 1 minute or every 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I can schedule the pipeline and I can monitor the pipeline. So this is one of the orchestration tool we have. But what happens here? Suppose I'm reading some data here and I have 1,000 columns. But while reading, I don't want 1,000 columns. I want only 10 columns and I want to remove some duplicate data in that. And I want to do some mean, max, deviation, all these things. So if you want to do that kind of rich kind of transformations, then what you need to do? You need to use Databricks here. So you need to call the Databricks notebook. Once after loading the data, you need to call the Databricks. So in this Databricks, you are going to call the Databricks notebook here. You are going to write all the logic. So you'll read the file here. Simple thing. I'll show you one simple thing. So you can read the data. So delta lake. Okay. So you can read the data from any source and you can do all rich kind of transformations. Like, so you can read the data like this continuously and you can create the tables. You can do all such kind of transformations here, like removing some columns, duplicates, all these stuffs you can do. And you can write the SQL queries here, inner join, outer join. So if you want to join 2 or 3 tables, you can do the join operations. So if you want to do rich kind of transformations, then we need Databricks, because Spark is a framework which will do parallel processing. It has caches, a lot of advantages. So it's a long course which we are going to learn. So if you want to do rich kind of transformations, then we need to use Python plus Spark, that is called PySpark. And we are going to learn all the data engineering stuff here. Even you can schedule the notebooks here. So we call it as a notebooks here. Suppose if I want to schedule this notebook, I can go to the workflows. I can use Apache Airflow here. I can create the job here. I can schedule these notebooks alone to run these notebooks. So there are multiple ways which we can use Databricks. So Databricks will be used for data engineering, data scientist, machine learning, AI, data analytics. So this is Databricks is a AI and company analytics company. So this is about the Databricks. And storage account, this is a common storage account which we have, where we need to learn how the data will be stored here. So if you see here, so how the data will be stored, what kind of files will be stored here. So I'm going to teach you the difference between data lake, delta lake, warehouse. So what kind of files will be stored, how the data will be organized in the partitions. So we are going to see all these stuffs in the storage account. And coming to the Synapse Analytics, right? Synapse Analytics is nothing but, it's a combination of Databricks, combination of data factory, okay, data factory, combination of storage, and combination of SQL. So you have all the stuff that is available in Azure Synapse Analytics. But you might get in one question, sir, if you have all the things here, why you have separate storage, why you have separate Databricks, why you have separate data factory? That I'll clarify you when we go in the class. When we go deeper and deeper, you understand each component. so that you can differentiate what is the important of that component, what kind of work we are going to do in that component. You'll get 5 to 6 real-time examples, which I'm going to share you. Okay. If you see this reference architecture, right? So if you see this Azure Data Factory is the ingestion tool where it can connect to multiple source systems. It can write the data to Delta Lake. From there, Databricks will read the data. It can do all the transformations. It can apply machine learning flow, data scientist, and it can move the data to Azure Synapse Analytics or any storage further. And it can use to applications or PowerBI can use this data directly. So there are a lot of architecture diagrams which we have, which we are going to see in the real time. So this is how the flows will be available for machine learning. So which we are going to see in later point of time. So I hope
sorry,
that.
Sorry to trouble. Here, as you given that architecture, what you are having. So
Yeah.
in general, they are saying that ADF, that is Azure Data Factory, is just like an ETL tool. And how come we can compare the database? Is it a ETL tool or ETL tool, or what we can say?
So Databricks is also part of ETL tool. That is a separate product-based company. Okay, Databricks has been introduced in AWS, Azure, Google. Even it is separate product as well. So most of the companies in UK, US, they have Databricks as a separate customer, separate tool. It's a cloud platform, ETL tool platform, where most of the customers use Databricks as a standalone. If you take customers like TCS, lot of companies, so they have already Azure cloud available. So if they want to utilize Databricks as a Spark engine, transformation engine, then in cloud, they have Databricks. You can onboard Databricks here. So this, when you click on this link, it will take you to the Databricks environment. So this is like a third party. So this Databricks is available in AWS, Azure, Google. So Databricks is common across all these platforms. So if you learn Databricks, then you can work in AWS, Azure, or Google, or Alibaba, and even as a standalone. So if you click on Launch Workspace, now it is going to take me an Azure Databricks environment here. So it's an individual project like AWS, Google, Databricks. So this is a separate environment. If you are working from with Azure, then it will come Azure. If you are working with AWS, it will come AWS. If you are working with Google, it will come Google. But apart from that, all the functionalities remain same. If you're working with Databricks alone, then you don't have anything like this. It will have only Databricks. But the features, underlying features, everything is same. For this, you should know Python plus Spark programming. Then you can learn data engineering. You can learn data scientist, machine learning, data analytics, everything you can learn. But the core basics is Python plus Spark, or Scala plus Spark, or R plus Spark, or any of these languages, SQL. Whatever Data Factory does, the same thing Databricks can also be done, but it's based on purely customer requirement. What kind of, because if you compare Azure, the cost might be differ. If you compare Databricks, the cost might be differ. So based on the use case, the solution architect will decide either you can use Data Factory or Dataflow or Databricks or Azure Synapse Analytics. But as a data engineering, you should know all these stuffs.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I have another question.
Yes, but
Shall I ask now or end of the session?
sorry. Yes, Madhu.
Shall I ask at the end of the session?
No, you can ask, anytime.
Yeah. I just want to understand the difference between Snowflake and this Azure Data Factory and this all things in Azure.
Snowflake, yeah. See, Snowflake is a competitor. If you go here, right? So if you see the architecture, so if you see the architecture, okay. So Snowflake you can use here as well. So if you see here, so you have this Snowflake. So Snowflake is one kind of Databricks kind of environment only. It's a separate product, okay. So mostly they use for data marts, building data marts, building data warehouse, analytics. So it's like a platform like Databricks, okay. So whatever Snowflake is going to offer services like Delta Lake or Lakehouse architecture, Spark structured streaming, or if you want to build any data marts, all the features are going to provide by Databricks for us. Okay.
Okay.
So when you understand the Databricks, guys, those who are not speaking, please go on mute. Okay. So I'm going to explain you the difference between Databricks and Snowflake when we go with this thing. So I'm going to compare data warehousing, data like data engineering, why we go for this. So I'm going to teach you the differences between Snowflake, differences between Synapse, differences between Teradata. I'm going to explain you the differences. Then you will understand end to end. Okay.
So nowadays, more which product is more popular now? Because Snowflake also doing good now as per my.
Snowflake, yeah, with my experience, Snowflake only limited number of people are using. If you take US UK market, right? So Snowflake has like 10 to 15% of market available. But if you take for Databricks, Databricks is a Nasdaq 100 below company. Databricks has been grown within span of 6 years. It has almost 1,000+ customers across the globe. 1,000+ customers. It's a number one in data engineering perspective. If you compare Snowflake versus Databricks, then you will understand. You just Google it, which one is much better.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can see about the Databricks, okay, in LinkedIn, all this stuff. So you'll get the knowledge, okay. Or you can use Databricks versus Snowflake. You can compare, or Databricks versus Snowflake versus Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay, so these three things. So we are going to learn Databricks and Azure Synapse Analytics. So you'll get clear picture, okay, which I'm going to explain anyway in my class. Don't get confused, guys. See, whenever any products come into the market, few customers will use based on their use case, because each product has their own advantage and disadvantage, okay. But always we need to see the top trending technologies which is available for last 5 years or 6 years. So if you take Azure, AWS, these are the global market leaders in cloud. Even Databricks, it's the ETL global market leader in the. If you see the Gartner reports, then you will understand. Always check the Gartner reports, latest reports on Snowflake, Databricks. So you can compare the tools. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and from tomorrow the classes will be from 7 to 8, the same timing. Okay, tomorrow or Friday. So your sir will confirm you either tomorrow or 5th or 6th. Okay, the timings will be 7 to 8 daily. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir,
Hi,
in addition
Chidanand.
to
Santosh here. Hello.
Yes.
Chidanand, apart from this Python, do we need any extra coding languages for this data engineering course?
No, Spark I'm going to teach you. Python I'm going to teach you. You should have the SQL background, SQL basic knowledge, like how to create select statement, all these things. Anyway, that is also I'm going to teach you. Simple things.
Okay. And no need to install any software, right, for practice
No,
purpose?
single software, you don't need to even in a single software. Everything you are going to work on cloud, which I'm going to provide you the environment for you.
Okay, fine.
Even not even single file, everything I'm going to share you.
Okay.
And sir, what is the duration for this course?
Course, it will go somewhere around 45 classes to 60 classes minimum.
Only week or the weekdays only.
Yeah, in a week, I'll take 5 to 6 hours minimum per week.
Okay, means 1 hour per day.
1 hour per day. Sometimes Saturday, Sunday, I'll extend the classes based on my availability, based on your availability. Okay. Like 1 hour, Saturday, Sunday, I'll take. If I miss, suppose in this week, 2 to 5, if I miss it somewhere on 1 or 2 classes, I'll continue, I'll catch the classes Saturday or Sunday. But weekly, minimum 5 classes will be there, and max 7 classes, 5 to 7 classes in a week.
Okay. And sir, did I miss anything previously, because I joined for today only?
Today only we have started. This is a demonstration. I have not covered even 0.1% as well. I just showed you the environment. I just showed you what I'm going to cover. Okay. Anyway, when we start, I'm going to start from the scratch. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So like we have in a data factory, don't we have any drag and drop option in the Databricks? So we have to do in coding only, is it?
Yeah, Databricks is a coding platform. It's a framework usually, because if you want to do data scientist, if you want to do machine learning, all these things, right? So you need libraries from Python or anything. So for that purpose only, so cloud is not going to provide. Azure, they don't have this kind of platform where it will support coding. So you need to use Apache Synapse Spark. Okay, recently they brought it, but that is not fully functionality like what we have in this one, Databricks. So you can create the notebooks here, Spark notebooks. You can write the code as well. So if I go here, develop, if I go to the develop, so you can write the notebooks here. You can write Spark notebooks here. Whatever we write in the Databricks, you can write the same code here as well. But coding is mandatory. Coding in the sense, it's not coding like what we write functional. It's a coding is nothing but it's like reading the data, playing with the data. Suppose I want to read some CSV file. I'll read the CSV file and then I will play with that file. So if you go here, simple. It's not like coding like functional business logic we are going to write here. We are going to read how to read the files, different kinds of files. Like this is how the coding will be. How to read the files. So this is the Python syntax to declare the variable. This is the Spark code. How to read the file. So I'm going to read this CSV file. And I want to make header is equal to true, data types, and delimiter for the file. So this is how the coding will be. After reading, you can do some kind of transformations here. So you can do a lot of stuffs like this. So if you want to change the data types, this is how the coding is. This is not pure coding. This is a framework, I can say. To read the files, to remove the duplicates. So all these stuff we are going to see. Okay.
So, sir, as per the Spark, we have to create a jar file, right, to deploy in the production. So so from here, how we can deploy? I mean, how we can create the jar file, sir, from
So
here?
you need to install Visual Studio for that. Okay. In Visual Studio, you can create the jar and you can use when you are running that, right? You can upload the jar to the cluster here. So when you create the cluster here, so you have option to upload that jar in this cluster. So you need to give that jar path here. Okay. You need to provide the jar path. Once after creating this cluster, right? So after cluster creation, you can include the jar file here. So it will execute your Spark notebook. Or you have other option. You can schedule that notebooks directly here. Or you can use Apache Airflow to call these notebooks directly. Instead of jar, if you are writing the notebooks directly notebooks, then you can directly schedule the notebooks by using workflow. Or other option is if you're calling from data factory, okay, so you can call that notebook directly here. So you can call that notebook path here directly.
Okay.
So there are multiple ways to execute. So I'll tell you.
Okay. So can you go to the previous page? Where we have here we have developed the transformation, right?
Yes.
So that transformation, how we can collect in one file only?
In one file, right? So if you go here, so I'm going to write all the transformations here itself. Simple thing. Let me go here. You are going to add all the files here itself. So you are going to add, suppose I have this one. Now I have read the file. If I want to remove some duplicates here, I'll write the code here itself. Code, drop duplicate. Okay. Then I'm going to store this into another data frame. So I'll tell what is the data frame, why we use all this stuff. So I'll tell you.
Okay.
So again, you can use one more command here. You can write the code here. So you can do all the
same question.
here.
Same question I have, because we could see here step by step it's showing like a one row only, row by row. So how we can collect all the things in one?
No, this is the notebook feature. If you know the Jupyter notebook or Zeppelin notebook, which Python has, the same notebook feature that is available called Databricks. This will execute step by step. If you click on run all right here, the top, it will execute step by step. So first it will execute command 1 here. Okay. So first it will execute command 1, command 3, next command 5 code, and then command 6. So it will execute step by step when you click on run now. So we'll see all these things, how to execute multiple codes. And even if you want to call another notebook, suppose in this notebook, I want to call this notebook. So copy file path, and you need to write the code here, run command. For this, use run command here. Run, you need to path that. So it will execute this notebook inside this notebook. So there are multiple ways to call multiple files. So we'll see all these options. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, no. Any other questions from anyone? If you are learning, if you have intention to learn and grow, then definitely I'm going to extend my things and I'm going to share you all the materials, all the content, whichever I have. But I want you guys to practice and come up with scenarios. I'm going to provide you all the scenarios, but you need to practice and come up with some doubts or any queries. I'm going to help you. Okay. I have a huge amount of information, huge amount of knowledge. You need to ask me the questions and you need to grab the knowledge from me. Okay. But as part of training and certifications, everything, I'll deliver without asking you. But if you need extra knowledge, then you need to dig me.
Sir, are we covering any project things as well?
Yes, I'm going to cover 2 real-time projects for you.
Okay. It would be better for us.
Yeah, I'm going to cover end to end. I'm the real-time experience guy. I know how industry works, so I'm going to teach in that manner. Okay.
Yeah.
So out of these 3 products like Databricks, ADF, and Synapse, which one is similar to Snowflake?
See, everyone has their own features. Whatever the Snowflake has, Synapse has, whatever the Snowflake has, Databricks has extra. So if I'm the customer, suppose I'm in TCS, I'm a Unilever customer. So Unilever is using Microsoft for almost 5 years, 6 years. They have a product. They build data lake. They build all these stuff. They won't go and again purchase the Snowflake license. So they use Databricks Delta, which is the features which is available in Snowflake, and they will implement. Suppose I'm a new customer. Okay. So what happens? Based on my requirement, based on the Snowflake, so I want only Snowflake. I don't want any extra things, like I don't want to pay extra cost for Azure, extra cost for Databricks. So what I will do, I'll get new customer from the Snowflake directly. So if the customer is already available in your workspace for almost 5 years, 6 years, like Azure or AWS, because this is there for almost 10 years in the market. Snowflake has been hit the market 2 years or 3 years back, and only last 1.5 year, it is hitting the market. Means some customers are suggesting for Snowflake, but after coming Databricks, Snowflake has been tremendously down, because Databricks has huge features which is not available in Snowflake. That I'll tell you. Okay, so it's not like I can tell, okay, you use Snowflake or Databricks. No, that is a wrong question. That is there earlier 2 years back, but now based on the customer requirement only, we can suggest the tools and what customer has already in their workspace. They're using Azure and AWS, we go with similar components. If customer want to migrate their application, now they have Cloudera, Hortonworks on premises, they want to migrate to the cloud, then I go with CDP, Cloud Data Platform, which will have this cloud data platform can connect to AWS, Azure, Google, and it can directly, without rewriting the code, they can shift their environment to the cloud. So it's purely based on customer requirement. We need to suggest the tools. It's not like just, okay, I have Snowflake, so I have these features, I can use this. No, that is a wrong assumption. If some solution architect is going with this assumption, that project will be 99%, that project will be failed. With my experience, never assume that, okay, I use Snowflake for this purpose. Without understanding business, without understanding the architecture, without understanding their data, no one should suggest which tool they need to use blindly. Okay, you can't compare different things, so you need to see what you want. Is cost is within your range? Is what this feature is available for your requirement? Go for that. That is how market is working nowadays, because in market they have each and every component have the same feature what Databricks has, Snowflake has. On top of that, they need to see their environment, they need to see the data, they need to see the skilled people on this. I'll get Snowflake today, but I want people to work on the Snowflake, so I can't get I need to recruit the Snowflake people. It will take 3 to 6 months for me. But if you know the Spark, that person can work in Databricks, that person can work in Azure, AWS, or Google, because Spark is common across everywhere. But Snowflake is not that manner. I'm just comparing things. Okay.
Yeah, sir, it's clarified. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, last question from my side. As I'm a Power BI analyst presently, I was called in my company. So if so what is my work is from the SAP, we are going to get the data. The users is going to provide the inputs for the reports. It has to be how the visuals are going to be, and we are going to create the reports. That is my work till now. So
Okay.
from the past 2 years, this is my work. What I'm doing. If I able to, if as I want to change my position from here as an analyst to the upper position, like as you said, that as a data engineer, as these things.
Yes.
So these are enough. Are as a Databricks, you are saying that Spark and everything.
Yes,
So
that is more than enough, because if you see, so you know the reporting tool now, right? You know the reporting tool already, Power BI or Tableau.
yeah, Power BI.
Okay, then you have already good knowledge in Power BI. You can do some transformations. You know how to connect the data from Power BI, right? So on top of this, if you know how the Power BI works with Databricks, because in Databricks, so if you go for Databricks here, so if you go to the Partner Connect, so you have Tableau and you have this one. So if you go for BI visualization, Power BI, Tableau, HX. So if you learn these things, so you are good at Databricks on analytics side, data engineering side, data scientist, and analytics. So if you learn these things, how to connect these things. So I'll show you in my training how to connect to the Partner Connect. And apart from that, you have the Power Query here. So if I go here, so if I see here Power Query, so this works as like Power BI. Even if you go for Synapse Analytics, you should know how to read. Power BI will connect to the Synapse Analytics, how it will read the data, how it will expose the tables. So if you know these kind of things on top of this, then you know data engineering, you know data analytics, you know reporting tools as well here. So you are like, you can go for solution architect if you know all these three things. Now you are at the end. You are at the end. If you know how Databricks, storage, and data factory works, then you can go for solution architect, because you know end-to-end architecture here. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Hi, sir. This is Sai.
Yes, I am.
Actually, I have a doubt. Like, do this topic covers cubes, fact loads, dim loads, all these things, or OLAP cubes like that?
No, no.
Oh, anyway, it contains ETL, right?
So ETL, see, OLTP, OLAP, we are going to see online analytics. We are going to cover OLTP, OLAP, ETL, ELT, all this stuff. If you get me the scenarios, then definitely I'll cover the topics for you. In ETL, I'm going to cover all these things. So if you go for ETL, right? So how ETL works, how data warehouse is going to construct, how we are going to build the data lakes. So this is how data warehousing and data lake ETL is going to approach data lakes. Okay, analytics. So we are going to cover all these topics. So how storage works. So data lake, delta lakes. This is how it has been defined. Scenarios, how implementation works in real time, modern data warehouse, real-time scenario, data warehousing concept, how it works. See, we have different diagrams: ingest, store, training, model, and serve on Synapse Analytics data warehouse. So we are going to see all these stuffs going further. Okay.
Okay, sir. But one more doubt. Like currently, I'm working as ETL developer. With Microsoft SSIS.
Okay.
So in the project, it contains factor dim loads. So Azure also involves the same thing in real world, or
Fact tables, dimension tables, these things, right? Star schema, all these things.
okay.
See, that is a data, that is purely a tables. That is data warehousing concept, fact tables, dimension tables, how you are going to interact with the tables. That is purely one scenario only. But if you take ETL, you should know what kind of resources that I need to use here, how to get the data, how to transform the data. That things you should know. So if you have data already, so you can, if you have 5 or 6 tables, if you want to do the join, then you need to see what kind of schema, what kind of modeling that you need to apply. That is purely on the analytics side.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Anyway, that things I'm going to cover, no issues. Okay. So any questions from anyone before we wind up for today?
The programming language will be trained separately, and then we will start with Databricks, or it will be together.
No. First, I'm going to start you what is a cloud, why we go for cloud, what is the cost, all these things. We'll go for storage account. So first we need to understand the storage account. So I'm going to teach you about the storage or how the storage is going to cost. And then we are going to see about data factories, simple pipelines, execute all these things. And then once after this, everything is completed, then I'm going to teach you what is Databricks, why we use Databricks. In this, I'll teach you about the environment because you should understand the environment first. You should plug and play with the environment. So once the environment is ready, before I start Spark, I'll teach Python and then Spark and data engineering. So these three things. After that, I'll come to Azure Synapse Analytics. And then finally, I'll show you PowerBI, how it will connect, and data flow. So these things will be covered in this manner.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any questions from anyone?
No, sir.
Tomorrow same time, right? 7 o'clock.
Yes, tomorrow or is this Shiva, right?
Sir,
Yeah.
Chidanand sir.
Yes.
Actually, we have scheduled the session for 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah, 6 o'clock, but 6 o'clock I got request few people, they want to move to 7 o'clock. So that's why 7 to 8 I'm going to take.
It's okay, sir. It's okay. Students is flexible with time means we are okay with that.
Yeah. So 7 to 8 is fine, right? With anyone has any concern on the timing? 7 to 8?
No, sir. No.
No, fine.
Okay. So we'll have 7 to 8 that day, okay? Okay, tomorrow 7 to 8 will start. Okay. So
Yeah.
the meeting invite and everything will be sent to you. Okay.
Sir, till how many days we have free session, sir? Demo sessions?
Demo session is today only. No free session.
Okay.
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 Only one session from tomorrow. Okay. Otherwise, we'll have the class from 6:30 to 7:30. That is also fine. Okay. We'll have some 6:30 to 7:30. Okay. So that everyone will. Few people said 6 to 7, and few people said like 7 to 8. So we'll keep in between 6:30 to 7:30. That fine with everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay then. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow again. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.